My name is Jason Phillips. I'm a visual artist based in Detroit, Michigan. Through the years, I've done and experimented with a lot of different styles of fine art based off of what inspired me the most.
My name is Shirley Woodson. I'm an artist, I'm a painter, a collagist, and mixed media artist as well.
My name is Hubert Massey, and I'm a fresco muralist. Part of my practice is I do large public pieces of artwork. I come into communities, do community forums, and I celebrate communities by creating art.
Jason Phillips and I met many years ago in kindergarten. He was the student and I was a visitor mom in the class.
I met Jason through his parents. He worked with me with the Summer Youth Art Employment Program. He's, to me, he was a real talented artist. I knew from the get-go when I first met him.
But he was a very likable young man, full of life and inquisitiveness.
When I was younger, I was very into Ernie Barnes, so I liked the elongated, exaggerated, figurative type of paintings. All different types of artists, even Rembrandt, I'm a style of his lighting and stuff like that.
Would see him in art shows. I was working for the Detroit Public Schools at the time. His works were always exceptional.
And the majority of my work is just a reflection of my experience growing up in Detroit, growing up in Michigan, growing up in the United States as an African American. So I try and give a different perspective on social and political issues.
I mean, he really engaged you. Many of his works were, they made you have to really engage in another range of thinking, another way of thinking.
Like the one that's over my shoulder. I've seen that in its early development, and I was really excited about it.
King Cotton was inspired from a group exhibition. The Arts League of Michigan did a group exhibit that touched on agriculture and how African Americans have had an impact on agriculture. And so immediately my mind went to cotton and did a little research on cotton and learned that that industry had an impact. I think that artists are kind of like a mirror to society, and we show what we see. I think that it's important for us to be able to document African American side of living in America.
He was very strong on civil rights, on the concept of freedom for African Americans, highly political, if we want to do all of the art is political, but he, being a young man, I just thought he did that very well.
Uneven Fight was a composition that I painted maybe about 3 years ago. The drawing was actually drawn in the early 2000s, but I never got around to the actual painting. But in light of recent activities and the Black Lives Matters movement, I felt like it was time to go ahead and paint that painting. A lot of people who I've spoke to, a lot of elders felt like the painting was depicting just trying to buck against the system, fighting the police, being a rebel. But the piece is actually just depicting the uneven fight that young African Americans have with the judicial system, with law and everything. So Birth of a Target was fueled by recent events in the media where we've been seeing like George Floyd just getting killed basically before all of our eyes. I really got to thinking about how much African Americans, in particular males, are targeted by the police. Our youth are targeted by campaigns, and I just wanted to show that. And so in that picture we have an African American woman and she's giving birth, but that birth is actually a gun target.
He continued to sort of a branching out of his work in the tattoo world. And there, he expanded that whole, there are a lot of artists out there that I know look at his work as a model for work that they do in a similar vein.
There came a time in my life where I needed a break from painting. During this particular time, I noticed that a lot of friends of mine were coming to me and they were asking me to do drawings so that they could actually get the drawings tattooed. And they were doing so, and the tattoos were coming back looking horrible. And I remember it was the 4th of July. We had a discussion on the porch while I was painting, and my friends were telling me, you need to start learning how to tattoo because you can practice on me type thing, And so, I gave it a thought, and as I started doing research about the art of tattoo, it was actually interesting to me.
Jason, over the period of time, has really progressed to me as a great artist. His ability to be able to interpret stories and tell stories through some of his pieces is really inspiring.
His range is wonderful, and he's one of our wonderful, wonderful artists out there in the world.